Hello everyone, my name is Udi. I'm an Israeli born in Jerusalem many years ago, now living in Switzerland. I spent 4 decades in curative education and social therapy, anthroposophical method, and I am very, very proud and happy to get into a discussion, into a conversation with these 2 wonderful men sitting here who are actually, they could be horrifying enemies to each other, but they're not. You will find out within the next time how it came on that this friendship is existing to such an extent. Bassam Aramin from Jericho in Palestine, and Rami Elhanan from Jerusalem. 2 people that have a very painful story on one hand, and on the other hand, a story full of hope. Welcome, Bassam and Rami. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Udi, for having us.
Tell us in a few words who you are and why you're here, please.
I'm Rami Elhanan. I'm 75 years old, graphic designer by profession, retired. I was born in Jerusalem, 7th generation. I'm a Jew, I'm an Israeli, and before anything else, I am a human being.
And my name is Bassam Aramin. I born in Hebron. I don't know, 2,000 generations. I'm a father of 6 kids, and me and Rami are members of the Palestinian-Israeli organization called the Parent Circle Families Forum, belong to the people who lost their beloved ones to the conflict.
Thank you. We shall hear more this evening about your past. Maybe you should turn to the future. We all know that this conflict going on in the Middle East is becoming worse and worse, and that such voices as yours are very rare and sometimes even are not accepted. Are you still accepted in your own societies with what you are doing, sitting here together, 2 fathers that lost children in the conflict, and instead of being enemies, you are brothers?
I think Bassam is admired in his family. They look up to him. The fact that he is an ex-prisoner, warrior, that took part in the liberation of his people, and the fact that he lost his 10-year-old daughter give him a special status. Even if people do not agree with him, they respect him. On my side, it's a little bit more problematic. We are swimming against the current. We are facing an angry society, a humiliated society, full of vengeance and revenge. And it's not easy in our society to sound this voice, which is completely different from the common denominator talk.
You know, and it's always up to you as individual. But for me, it's not easy to argue with someone like me in my society, because I am not outsider. I didn't come to say to the Palestinians, this is right and this is wrong. As Rami said, I am from there. I paid the highest price, so I have the right to talk. And you discover it's very difficult to talk, but it's very easy to fight. So it's I believe it's more matter of responsibility, because you always look for the most effective way to fight. And when you discover the dialogue or non-violence, to move beyond dialogue, it is very difficult. You know, sometimes when you talk, you represent the minority, unfortunately. And when you keep silence, you represent the majority. In our case, always I said that we will never keep silence, simply because we have no fear. Simply because the worst already happened. So when they kill my daughter, they kill my fear. It's a matter of responsibility to protect your other kids at a very personal level. So in fact, also we are not against the society. We are working for them. It's not a personal problem between me or my family and the State of Israel. I am part of the Palestinian people. And I work for them, and it's not only like me. We are thousands and thousands of people who have the same view. But unfortunately, as you said, sometimes it becomes more difficult. But it's not destiny that we are continue to killing each other forever.
I have a question, maybe you can refer to it. As an Israeli who is politically
attached,
placed at a certain side of the middle, which is obvious, the Jewish people, and especially the Israelis, they have had until the 7th of October, at least in their own minds, the beautiful, flourishing, succeeding, happy state and society to a certain extent, but they were telling themselves that everything is totally okay, ignoring totally what happens over the fence with the Palestinians. And still the Israelis have a horrifying, highly developed consciousness of being victims of the Holocaust, of persecution of 2,000 years. The Palestinians have all the actual concrete reasons to feel victims, but somehow I think they don't. Am I right with that? Could you try and speak about this aspect of being victim, of the victimhood in the Israeli and in the Palestinian society?
In fact, yes, we became the victim of the victim, absolutely. You know what you are talking about, the victimhood mentality in the Jewish people in general, and especially the Israelis. It's absolutely there. What we are trying to do to sit out from this victimhood mentality, which is very difficult. And sometimes if you feel as a victim, it means you have the right to do anything. And this is what Golda says. After the Holocaust, we have the right to do anything to protect ourselves. It's a matter of education. It's the only occupation on earth that represents itself as the victim. So imagine. On the other side, I always said that yes, we became the victim of a victim, but I don't want to be in the jail of the victimhood mentality. It's in fact a different culture and a different history between the Jewish people or the Israelis and the Palestinians. We don't like to remain as a museum, to go back always to our pain, to our wound, because you will continue to be angry forever. You will continue to justify anything that you will do. And when you release yourself in the personal level from the victimhood mentality, you feel even that physically you are much better. And to release yourself from your fear, your hatred. You know, I was in jail for 7 years, and I learned that if you know your enemy, you can defeat him or you can kill him. If you only hate him, you will kill yourself. So after a long time, I discovered my enemy. I kill him, eliminate him forever with non-violence ways, I discover it's my hatred, it's myself. So you become like, you go back to your roots and you see others as human beings. When you discover that your enemy is exactly like you, it's a huge thing for yourself and gives you another ways to act in a different way. Now, as I said, I don't think that the Palestinians, yes, they are victims, and it's a competition of victimhood mentality. But as a culture, it's more easy, I believe, for the Palestinians to move on than the Israelis, because they study to be victims at the age of 4 and 6 and 7 and 8 from the stories of the Holocaust, for example. I will never understand how could you taught a kid before he go to sleep at the age of 4 stories about the Holocaust without any connection with the Palestinians, with the Arabs, with the Muslims, with the conflict. It's not human.
I remember Golda Meir said something else, which is like
we will never forgive the Arabs for making us, killing them.
And by the way, I was in an interview with the Israeli radio, and someone said that it's a rabbi, and I said to him, I just want to ask forgiveness from this rabbi because I caused to this kid to kill my daughter. I am very sorry for that.
I think the essence of everything is our history, our tradition. We are born with 3,000 years of victimhood on our backs. It's under our skin. It will never go away. It's a one wound that never heals. And we love our victimhood. We don't allow anyone else to be a victim. We send our kids to Auschwitz when they are 16 years old kid to learn what it means to be a victim, and then they come back draped with the national flag and the slogan, never again. And the next year, this 18 years old kid finds himself in a checkpoint. And he has to make a decision whether this old guy coming towards him is a terrorist or just a grandfather, which is inhuman. And we love our victimhood so much that we inject this victimhood mentality to our veins every morning, every memorial ceremony, every school, every kindergarten, every movie, every book in the culture. And it's a matter of decision. When you open your eyes, when you discover that there are more victims, that there is a chain of victimhood, chain of revenge and retaliation, an endless cycle of violence, it's up to you to decide. I am a victim, but I will not use my victimhood in order to victimize others. Someone has to stop this endless cycle of violence and have to give up this mentality of victimhood, because it's the essence of the problem.
Yeah, there is something in the Jewish mentality
To
remember, and we always think that we are the followers of, you said 2,000, 10,000 generations back, as if you look at it from the Indian point of view, you have been in India talking about karma, as if you reincarnate again and again and again and again and again inside Judaism. We always live with a kind of a genetical mentality, as if we never were anywhere else but inside this ethnic group. How is it in Palestinian mentality? How long back do you look into the past? How far does it go before the Nakba, before the 68, 48, Balfour in 1904?
This has just happened yesterday. In fact, I start to look for how long we are here in jail. My jailer, he believed that we are settlers, the Palestinians, and I get crazy. What?
Settlers?
Yeah.
You are settlers?
We are here.
Wow.
We are the native nation. And he said, the problem when I discovered that he believed that we are settlers, and the Jewish people come back after 2,000 years. They go to visit someone, and 2,000 years it takes, then they come back home to liberate this land from the Muslim rules or something like this. But in spite, we give you to exist and to live and to work, but you are killers. So he wants to understand why we hate the Jewish people. Of course, in that time, I don't know what's the meaning with the Jewish or the Israelis or the Zionists between them. So in fact, what happened, I said to him, I don't know, I am 17 years old, maybe we are settlers, but let us talk. So I need to educate myself to discover if we are settlers, maybe, I don't know. Because he asked me, you know the Palestinians, are you people? I said, yes, we are the Palestinian people. And he said, how? I don't know. Always I hear the Palestinian people. He said, we are here 2,000 years. And you? He said, we are here. I don't know. I need a number. So, do you have civilization? Do you have? I don't know. So for that I said, let us talk. Of course I need to educate myself. I discovered that we have a state. I discovered we have civilization. I discovered we have a deep history in this land. And the first football association in the Arab world was Palestinian. The first soccer match was between Australia and Palestine back in 1935. Oh my God. Jaffa was the capital of the Arab world, the cultural capital. The government of Palestine. Wow. So if the Israelis or the Jewish talk about 2000, they have a problem because the Palestinians talk now they talk about 3000. The Palestinians talk about 10,000 years. So when they add another 1,000, we will add 2,000. So once I found myself in this argument, which is very serious, with ordinary people, they are not historians, and they are stuck into 2,000 or 3,000. The Palestinians stuck in the 10,000s. They said, they are the narrative, but we are the true. We are here. So I said once, you know, I don't know when it starts, 10,000, 5,000, 1 million, but I know for sure the Palestinian history starts for me on the 23rd of June, 1968. When I was born, I am here. I want to live in peace and security and freedom and social justice and dignity, and I will fight for that. It means I am here, I exist. And this is the main point, that even if you are here 1,000 years or 1 million years, I am not going to disappear, which is true for both sides. Now this is logic, and people, when they hear the logic, I believe they will follow. Something will change.
So we have a conflict based on the lack of logic.
You know, the trouble is that we as victims, as people who pay the highest price, are victims of this conflict of narratives, are victims of this inability to be able to listen to the pain of the other, to accept the other as equal to you. And after October 7th, and even before, but more after October 7th, it has developed into a competition of victimhood in a way that is completely insane. It became like the whole world is sitting on the balcony watching a TV reality show in which, with the mentality of the football fans, my team against the other team, my win against the other win. If I lose a millimeter, you will lose everything, and so on. And it becomes complete inability to listen to each other, to know there is something in the middle. It becomes slogans and banners and songs and flags, and so in which no one is able to listen to the other. And the message that we bring is a message of compassion, message of trying to understand, message of trying to learn. We are not the wisest people on earth. We have a lot to learn, and every fact has many faces. And we say, instead of saying from the river to the sea, we are saying from the river to the sea, everyone should be free. You have to be able to send your kid to school, get it back in one piece, being able to live normal life, side by side. And the only way to do it is by listening to each other, is by accepting each other. And this is the essence of our activity.
Now, when you talk about conflict between narratives, which is very normal, of course, you know, if the Israelis adopt or accept the Palestinian narrative, it means you need to justify your existence. You need to justify that you come back home. You need to justify land without people for people without land. So it's your story to exist. Now, what we are doing when we talk about reconciliation, there is no reconciliation under the occupation. There is no reconciliation without the truth. And this is what we are doing here. It means we will follow the example of Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which take place in South Africa. It means you need to tell the truth. For me, I can see you occupied my own house. It's not the Palestinian people's house, my own, as a person, as individual. And we never talk about it. So it's always there. In the morning, I remind you that you are a thief or occupier. Until you come to say, it was a war, I am here, it's not my fault, whatever. It means we need to talk about the problem. We need to go back to the history, which is, it's not 3,000 years. Then I believe we can move towards a real reconciliation, build on our right to exist, both of us. And one day it will happen, of course. Very soon, I hope, because it takes too much, too long.
And the price is too high.
Yes.
Is there any way out of this actual conflict? I know that until a certain time ago, for Palestinians to leave the occupied territories to come to Europe was a problem because of all the gates and all the checkpoints and all the papers, having a kind of a passport which is not a passport and is a passport. And for Israelis it always was just like that, to go to the airport in Tel Aviv and fly. I know that you left now Israel the first time, you, Rami, in a situation where the airplane had to fly in between the missiles falling on Tel Aviv and the surrounding. And for you, Bassam, suddenly it was the first time you could just go cross the river of Jordan, go to Amman and fly to Europe as a free man. Everything changed. I know that you came to Switzerland from Poland and that you visited together Auschwitz. And I don't want to go back to the past and the Auschwitz and everything, but is there any message which has a future content out of this visit in this horrifying place, Auschwitz?
Absolutely, yes. We are not doomed. It's not written anywhere that we have to go on killing each other. The Palestinians will not disappear. The Israelis will not evaporate. The Israelis will not be able to throw the Palestinians to the desert. The Palestinians will not be able to throw the Israelis to the sea. We are doomed to live in this holy land of ours forever. And there is an agreement lying on the table waiting to be signed, and everybody knows exactly what should be done in order to finish this stupid conflict tomorrow morning. It has many names. You can call it the Geneva Code, you can call it the 242 resolution, you can call it many names. One basic fact is that one side, which are the Palestinian Arabs, are giving up 78% of the land which they believe all of it is only theirs. And the other side, which are the Israeli nation, would have to give 22% of the land which they believe is the cradle of their culture. And this agreement will be signed. I believe in it to the depths of my soul. It will be signed in 1 year or in 2 years. It took the Irish people 800 years to get to their agreement, and they don't like each other very much. It took the Germans and the French and the English decades and decades and decades and years and years and years to give up after millions of dead. There was peace agreement between Israel and Egypt after 73 war, 5 years later, and it still holds until today. The apartheid regime, the collapse of the Soviet Union, the collapse of the Berlin Wall. History moves in a direction, and the direction of one people dominating another is abnormal situation which must be changed. It will be changed. In the short run, I'm very pessimistic. They are crazy, they are fear, full of anger, humiliation. The right for self-defense has developed into the right of revenge, and two nations are crazy, completely crazy. In the and I always say to the people who listen to us that the Hamas people that did the massacre on October 7th were 12 to 10 years old kids in 2014 when Israel invaded Gaza. What will be with the 40,000 dead and their relatives? What will happen? When will be the next October 7th? We must find a way to make a restart. Do it like in a computer, to redefine the reasons that we are willing to kill for and die for. We can have one state, we can have two states, we can have 10,000 states, we can have federation, we can have confederation. These are all technical solutions. One word is essential. Without it, nothing will happen. And the word is respect. And you have to be able to respect the guy next to you exactly as you want to be respected. No more and no less. And once you achieve this, all the rest are really technicalities. You can have the Temple Mount for 2 hours, I will have the Temple Mount for another hour. We will find, okay, take it all. What I'm trying to say is that these things are negotiable, provided that you don't look down at your enemy, provided that you show understanding and compassion. And I think it's achievable, and I'm sure it will happen.
Our national poet Mahmoud Darwish says in his song, when he met the Israeli soldier, she's a woman, and she said to him, "But I kill you, yes, are you again?" He said, "Yes." And she said, "But I killed you yesterday, didn't I?" He said, "Yes, you killed me, but I am like you, I forget to die." I want to say to the Jewish nation, and especially the Israelis, my story is your story. We are mirrors to each other. And unfortunately, history sometimes repeats itself. The way to go out is to give up the victimhood mentality and to recognize the right of the Palestinian people in self-determination. We will never ever accept the Israeli occupation. Even after 3,000 years, people who occupied another people will never feel free. Never. So, always I said that I didn't see the Israelis will give up their safe place after 3,000 years of slavery and discrimination and anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. And I cannot see the Palestinians give up their right to be free. This is the only way. Otherwise, unfortunately, we will continue to sacrifice the blood of our kids from both sides to protect the holy stones of Jerusalem. And I'm not sure if Jerusalem know who we are, if we are exist at all. So it's up to us. And the end, I have no doubt that the Palestinians didn't kill 6 million Israelis, for sure. And the Israelis didn't kill 6 million Palestinians
Yet.
until now. And there is a German ambassador in Tel Aviv. And there is an Israeli ambassador in Berlin. 4 years after 6 million victims, the best relationship between Germany and Israel. So how come? How the people can overcome this hatred and sea of blood? So we can do it. We need a brave leader who can lead us towards the future and release us from the victimhood mentality.
And the Jewish superiority.
Yeah, and maybe try to live according to the future, not according to the past.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if you heard the name Udi Elhanan, Professor Udi Elhanan, a scholar and a Holocaust researcher. He wrote an article in Haaretz newspaper about 15 years ago about the importance of forgetting.
Bassam, Rami, I will not look for words, for long words, to thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for letting our voice to be heard.